Alright, I've decided what I'm going to do in 2022. For those of you who've been following me, you know that I injured my shoulder and I've been trying to recover. I'm not fully recovered yet, but I've come a long way and I've decided that it's time to jump back in. I'm not going to do anything stupid though. I don't want to undo all the progress I've made with my shoulder. So my calisthenics goals are pretty modest, and my focus in the near term is going to be hypertrophy. I'm going to try to put on some muscle mass, which I think I can do without risking re-injuring my shoulder. In this video, I'm going to talk about the workout program and diet strategy that I'm going to use. First, a few things that I'm not going to do. Straight arm levering moves like the planche, front lever, and back lever. Those are what got me into trouble, and although they are still very much on my long-term wish list, I'm not going to be doing any of that stuff for at least a year. And when I do start working on them again, I'm going to be much more careful. I also don't think it's safe for me to work on explosive moves, so I won't be doing anything like fast muscle-ups either. What I'm going to do is to mostly focus on hypertrophy using basic calisthenics and weightlifting movements. I am going to attempt to put on 10 pounds of muscle this year. Why am I doing this? Well, because of my shoulder injury, I'm constrained to doing only very safe exercises. I'm going to do everything slow, using the best form that I can possibly achieve, and using lower intensity and higher reps. In other words, I feel like the only way I can train safely right now is to train more like a bodybuilder, so it only makes sense to adopt the goals of a bodybuilder. Now, I've never worked out for looks. I'm mainly interested in strength and ability. But looking good is kind of nice. It's a fringe benefit. Even I am not entirely immune to the siren song of getting jacked. Also, I'm goal-oriented. I need some sort of goal to stay motivated. But not only am I a hard gainer, I'm lucky if I've put on 6 or 7 pounds of muscle in the roughly 15 years that I've been doing calisthenics. I'm also 55 years old, I'm unwilling to take any kind of artificial substances, and I have lots of injuries. So I know what you're thinking. What makes you think you can put on that much muscle now when you've never been able to do it before? That's a fair question, and I am fully prepared for the possibility that I won't be able to do it. However, I think I might have better success than I did in the past. First, I've never trained for hypertrophy. I've either trained aimlessly, with a focus mostly on maximizing the potential for injury, or I've trained for strength. And second, and most importantly, I've never eaten right for gaining weight. My workout strategy will be to focus on basic exercises using many sets with higher rep ranges, lower intensity, and taking all sets close to failure. By lower intensity, I just mean using only body weight or using lighter weights and using only exercises or progressions that I can do for many reps using very good form. That should be both safer for my shoulder and better for hypertrophy. This is the kind of workout program that I'm aiming for. I work out 3 days a week and I use an A-B split. And I divide it up between pushing and pulling exercises. In workout A, I do elevated pike push-ups, dips, and normal push-ups. And in workout B, I do chest-to-bar pull-ups, rows, and chin-ups. I do some supersetting to save time. So for example, I superset dips with my deadlift and loaded carries. Those don't use the same muscle groups, so it seems reasonable to superset those. Rest times between sets will be 3 to 4 minutes. Along with the pushing and pulling exercises, I also do deadlifts and squats. And this program also includes 1 core exercise per workout. And of course, deadlifts and squats also work the core. And as part of my overall workout program, I also do cardiovascular workouts twice a week, usually running stairs or hills. Success or failure with hypertrophy won't depend on the exact exercises or the exact program that I use, and I'll probably adjust things as I go. Whether or not I can successfully build muscle will depend on doing a large number of high-quality reps. So I'm going to focus on making every rep count and taking every set close to failure, using weights or intensity that allows me to do a relatively large number of reps with really good form. If my shoulder keeps getting better, I might start to add weight and intensity and start getting back into legitimate strength training. But I'll have to see how it goes. I'm going to try hard not to get caught up in trying to get stronger. I do expect to get stronger, but if I start dreaming about setting new PRs, then I will probably re-injure myself. Even if you do all the right things as far as working out goes, if you don't eat the right way, you won't be able to put on much muscle. In fact, your diet may be the most important part of the equation. You really need to overeat to convince your body to put on muscle. And I'm convinced that it's not really possible to put on a significant amount of muscle quickly without also putting on fat. If you work within the constraint of always staying lean, it's not possible to gain muscle quickly. Or, I should say, that the only way that it is possible for you to gain a lot of muscle quickly while staying lean is if you are the star of an upcoming superhero movie. Oh yeah, if you're starring in a superhero movie, then it's possible to gain like 30 pounds of muscle and lose 10 pounds of fat in an 8-month period. But other than that, forget about it. So my basic diet strategy is to eat a significant excess of calories, including large amounts of protein and fat. As far as exactly what I eat, I discussed that at length in my recent video about diet and intermittent fasting. In a nutshell, I just eat normal food. I eat a pretty healthy diet, heavy on protein and fat, and with very little processed sugar. I try to eat a fair amount of fruits and vegetables. Now, one additional problem that I have is that I'm going to continue with the intermittent fasting. I'm convinced of the health benefits and I'm not going to stop doing it. Unfortunately, that makes things more difficult because I only have about 8 hours a day in which to eat all of this food. At the time that I'm recording this video, I've already been on this program for about 3 weeks, and here's what I've been doing. I eat 3 times a day and aim for about 2,500 calories and about 100 grams of protein per day. That's very rough though. As I've mentioned before, I'm not inclined to weigh my food or strictly count calories. I estimate the calories and protein from my general knowledge of nutrition and by how full I feel. My general strategy is that every time I eat until I'm uncomfortably full. I eat enough that I kind of dread the next meal. I understand what the powerlifters and bodybuilders are talking about. It's a real chore to consistently eat more than you want to. And weirdly, when you eat a lot, you tend to get hungry faster in the morning, and that makes the intermittent fasting harder. So now, I have kind of the worst of both worlds. I'm starving for a lot of the morning, and then uncomfortably full most of the rest of the day. But I do it. I do it for my fans. I do it so that I can come back in a year and tell you whether it worked. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 3 weeks, and I've already gained 2 or 3 pounds. I'm sure that I'll have to make adjustments as I go. I'm already thinking that I'm probably eating too much. It's probably been closer to 3,000 calories a day. But that's okay. This is just the beginning. I'm confident in my ability to lean back out when I want to. I may end up bulking and cutting several times this year. So my goal is 10 pounds of muscle. How will I know if I've reached my goal? Well, I've taken some pictures and some measurements. I suppose if I gain 10 pounds and still look approximately as lean as I do in the pictures, that would count. But I decided to do something a little more quantitative than that. I picked an online calculator, fitmatic.com. It analyzes your body fat percentage based on various measurements and uses several different models. It says the Navy, Hodgdon, and Beckett model is preferred, so I'm going to go with that one. I don't know anything about the various models, but I figure if I compare my results now with my results at the end of the year using the same model, at least that'll be a valid comparison. With my current measurements, it says that my body fat percentage is 9.89%, which would imply that at 140 pounds, I'm carrying about 14 pounds of fat. If I managed to gain 10 pounds of pure muscle, I would still be carrying that same 14 pounds of fat. I would then weigh 150 pounds, and so my body fat percentage would then be about 9.3%. But I'd be completely happy if my body fat percentage stayed what it is now, say under 10% using this calculator. Anyway, between the calculator, the body measurements, and the pictures, I should be able to at least roughly determine how well I did. That's it, thanks for watching. We're going to find out if an old guy like me can put on 10 pounds of muscle in a year. Let me know in the comments if you have any advice for me or if you have any questions. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Good luck with your training, and I'll see you in the next video.